He's still living!
That boy is not giving it up.
No!
Not like that. The Leo special.
Nintendo allegedly sent a message to VG Bootcamp and the Smash World Tour and said, you cannot run this tournament.
The biggest Smash event of the year. Not just of the year, by the way, but of all time in terms of prize pool.
And now you have like an inside man here, Alan, who is actively going against the community as well.
People who are part of the scene will just like do stuff that negatively affects themselves first off, but like the future of the scene. It's like, come on guys, like we're all working together here. You know what I'm saying?
So I knew for a very long time that Nintendo was not fond of the Smash World Tour and what they were doing.
There was literally no security when I did this. I want to make that very clear. I waltzed into that place.
I, like anyone else, just want the truth. I just want the answers here.
A lie can travel around the world and back again, while the truth is lacing up its boots. In times like these, it's important to go back and teach the truth how to tie their laces. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the 2022 Smash World Tour Championships, or rather the lack thereof, which was set to be the biggest tournament in Smash history with a prize pool of $250,000 across 2 games. The event was supposed to be the grand finale to the Smash World Tour, an international esports circuit for Super Smash Bros. Melee and Ultimate. The idea was that players could compete at various tournaments on the circuit and earn points to qualify for the championships in December. 2022 was a special year for Smash because it was really the first year since the COVID-19 pandemic where all the major tournaments would have in-person events. So the Smash World Tour Championships would be an epic finish to such a special year in Smash. That is, until November 29th, less than 2 weeks before the championship event, where the Smash World Tour Twitter account announced that Nintendo would not let them continue without a commercial license, much to the dismay of the Smash community. But how did we get to this point? The story of the Smash World Tour is long, with many twists, turns, and seemingly no end in sight. While creating this video, I tried reaching out to many different people. TOs, top players, former Panda employees, even the former CEO of Panda Global himself, all of which were very polite, helpful, and respectful as I researched the case, which I appreciate, by the way. I truly do. I even reached out to the Smash World Tour themselves, and while they could have just, answered my questions or even politely declined to comment, they instead chose to ghost me and complain about me at a local, so much for transparency, am I right, boys? Alright, now without further ado, let's solve the mystery behind the Smash World Tour, the mystery behind Panda Global, and the mystery behind Smash Esports. Before we get into the depths of this mystery, I first need to introduce you to our 2 main characters in this story. Video Game Bootcamp, the company that founded Smash World Tour, is one of the Smash community's most prominent tournament organizers and media production groups. Founded in 2009 by Gimmer and Apostle, they are the standard for grassroots competition in Smash. The key there is grassroots. VGBC has grown to where it is now without much help from Nintendo. As a result, Smash World Tour was an unlicensed circuit that did not officially have Nintendo's approval at any point during its lifespan. Enter Panda Global. Panda is an esports organization based in competitive Smash, and just like VGBC, Panda created its own Smash circuit called the Panda Cup, but unlike the Smash World Tour, the Panda Cup was licensed and approved by Nintendo. This partnership was announced on November 18th, 2021, and made waves throughout the entire community. For the first time, Smash would have an official esports circuit for Super Smash Bros. Melee and Ultimate. But what did this mean for Smash World Tour, who had been operating without a license for the past year? Now that Nintendo had an officially licensed circuit, was this the end for Smash World Tour? Well, actually, it was quite the opposite.
Nintendo reached out to us to let us know that they had been watching us build over the years and wanted to see if we were interested in working with them and pursuing a license as well.
This conversation changed their perspective on Nintendo and made them more confident in Smash World Tour's future and more open to working with Nintendo. Now, why is it important to get licensed? After all, VGBC had been running many Smash events without a license for years, including the Smash World Tour. So why did they immediately jump at Nintendo's offer and submit not just 1, but 2 license applications? The answer is bread. If you're going to run a massive commercialized event or circuit using Nintendo's IP, you should probably get permission to do so first. Publisher oversight is pretty standard for most big esports, and is why almost every major Smash event last year was licensed, even those not on the Panda Cup, such as Genesis, Riptide, Shine, and Lowtide City. Many sponsors are only comfortable supporting events that are officially backed by Nintendo. If you're going to run a massive world tour with a larger-than-life grand finale, you'll need to find some extra cash somewhere, and this becomes harder when you can't get any big sponsors on board.
A lot of brands are wary to work with even me when I run a Smash event because they know that I don't have the approval from Daddy Nintendo.
So if the Smash World Tour was going to run a global Smash circuit in 2022, they would need to get an official license from Nintendo. Otherwise, everything they built would eventually come crashing down. Which it did. Conversely, Panda, who was licensed, was able to sell over $2 million worth of sponsorships in only 5 months, which was used to help support the events on the circuit. The importance of obtaining a license cannot be understated, especially for these massive super major events. It can be the difference between an event running smoothly and not running at all.
I wanted to say Big House this year wouldn't have been possible without Panda support. I personally had a good experience working with them to elevate our event. They made much of the decor, carpeting, signage possible, and helped secure sponsorships while reducing overhead.
The brains behind the Panda Cup was their CEO Dr. Allen, who had spent years working with Nintendo trying to create this circuit. And on May 26, 2022, his dream would finally come to fruition and he would launch the Panda Cup, the first Nintendo licensed circuit. He was without question an excellent businessman who was able to build the foundation for something great, exciting, and most importantly, sustainable. But what he lacked was Riz. And as a result, complications began to arise when Dr. Allen started working with TOs in the community. On November 29, 2022, Smash World Tour announced that the upcoming championships, as well as the entire 2023 circuit, were cancelled, sending shockwaves throughout the community. Thousands of fans were devastated, and even more were looking for answers. Even figures outside of the Smash community were now suddenly discussing the Smash World Tour and how Nintendo shut them down. But while this development was undoubtedly a bombshell, it was nothing compared to what came next.
Around this same time, Panda Cup began heavily recruiting events for their circuit. The CEO continued to tell organizers we would be getting shut down shortly, and also added that any events that participated in the Panda Cup would not be allowed to be on the Smash World Tour. This exclusivity surprised us, not only because of our Nintendo conversations regarding coexisting, but also because we were not exclusive, and even back in January, we told organizers that they could be on both with zero issues from us.
Throughout their document, Smash World Tour accused Dr. Allen of being anti-competitive by undermining Smash World Tour's ability to acquire events. He did this by telling TOs that Smash World Tour would get shut down if they tried to come back in 2022, forbidding events on the Panda Cup from joining Smash World Tour, and strong-arming TOs into joining the Panda Cup. As a result, many events refrained from joining the Smash World Tour. Amidst all the chaos surrounding Smash World Tour, all eyes were suddenly on Panda. Many top players and figures began to boycott Nintendo and Panda Global, and drop out of the Panda Cup Finals event to take a stand against them. Panda players and employees faced harsh harassment for several days, and were pressured to leave the organization.
Every day, I was getting I was getting DMs, I was getting messages, I was getting replies to that, I was getting added like, what's your stance? How dare you support Panda? What is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? What do you do? Like, you're terrible, blah, blah, blah.
Popular Smash streamer 24K once famously proclaimed that Panda's statement would need to be more influential than Michael Jackson himself. In other words, they were done for. They would release a statement trying to control the damage, but it was already too little too late. Panda was over, and on December 5th, they announced that Dr. Allen had stepped down as the CEO, as well as the cancellation of the Panda Cup Finals. The Smash community began the year with 2 highly anticipated circuits, only for both to be cut short. Now that the dust has settled and everyone has had a chance to speak, I think it's time to come to a conclusion. After reading the public statements, listening to the podcast, and even talking to Dr. Allen himself, here's what I think. Dr. Allen had plenty of negative experiences with several TOs in the community, which is why the Panda Cup didn't have many events on its lineup. Allen acknowledged that he didn't have the proper insight or knowledge to negotiate with these TOs, which resulted in many misunderstandings and complications. Whatever was actually said in those conversations, and whether or not Allen intended to strong-arm anyone, remains to be a mystery. But at the end of the day, many TOs felt uncomfortable working with Dr. Allen and threatened by his words and conduct. However, just as much as I want to validate these TOs' experiences, I also want to give Dr. Allen the benefit of the doubt and believe that he wasn't trying to act maliciously or in bad faith when negotiating. Take for instance the exclusivity rule, where events on the Panda Cup were not allowed on the Smash World Tour. This rule wasn't Dr. Allen's choice, it was actually a loophole in Nintendo's licensing rules at the time.
The exclusivity of the Panda Cup was because Nintendo originally couldn't license events that were on unlicensed circuit, and that we could only work with licensed events. We were able to get this rule lifted 6 weeks into the original Panda Cup negotiations, and events on SWT were able to receive a license agreement.
So if Nintendo originally wasn't going to license events on an unlicensed circuit, wouldn't it be important to mention that to TOs before they decided to sign on to either circuit? That's not undermining, that's just being an upfront businessman. In the same vein, I don't think Dr. Allen is a terrible person for telling other TOs that Smash World Tour was getting shut down if he genuinely believed it himself.
I knew for a very long time that Nintendo was not fond of the Smash World Tour and what they were doing. They came up in conversations before in the past Nintendo, and the words cease and desist were used multiple times.
Could he have done a better job communicating the situation to TOs? Obviously, I don't think saying Smash World Tour is getting shut down when you don't know that for a fact is the most responsible thing to do. But considering what Dr. Allen was told by Nintendo, I don't blame him for trying to be honest with TOs by telling them what he knew. What stands out to me is that this whole exclusivity thing wouldn't have been an issue had Smash World Tour gotten licensed. I mean, remember, Nintendo reached out to Smash World Tour to offer them a license. It seemed like both parties wanted this to happen. So how did it all fall apart? Let's focus on that part of the document, because I find it quite interesting. When Nintendo called Smash World Tour to offer a license, they told them to wait to get approved before announcing the 2022 circuit. Initially, Smash World Tour complied and submitted their application in late January. However, on March 9th, they decided to go ahead and announce the circuit, even though their application was still being evaluated.
This caused our application to go into limbo, and that a decision could not be made at this time, since we did not have the full scope of our proposal sorted with Nintendo in advance.
I'm very curious as to what this proposal was and why you thought you could get it approved in only 2 months. It took Dr. Allen over 3 years to make the Panda Cup. And that's a North American exclusive circuit. You guys were an international circuit, which would require working with Nintendo teams worldwide, yet you're surprised your application was still being evaluated just 2 months after you submitted it? Then on top of that, you chose to move forward and announce the circuit anyways? Your announcement wasn't just a Twitter post or something, it was an entire 30-minute video fully detailing the plan for that year. Why would you do that when Nintendo told you not to? Actually, I think I have an idea.
During that time period of December to March, we continued our talks with Nintendo. For the first time, we felt like Nintendo was being consistently straightforward, transparent, and direct in answering our questions. We also began finalizing details of the 2022 Smash World Tour with various tournament organizers around the world, this time with more confidence than ever.
So according to Smash World Tour, they had been reaching out to TOs and making deals and promises for the upcoming circuit. To fulfill these promises, they would have to announce the tour before any of those events happen, since you can't retroactively put an event on the circuit. The earliest event on the Smash World Tour was Virtuosity Smash Open, which occurred March 17th through 19th, so that would explain why they were forced to announce on March 9th. The issue here is that they began finalizing details with TOs as early as December 2021, which, if you'll remember, was a whole month before they even submitted their application for a license. You'd think it would be common sense to get Nintendo's approval first, before trying to get TOs on board, right? Apparently not. So by promising TOs and sponsors that they were coming back in 2022, they essentially pigeonholed themselves into a set deadline to get licensed. A deadline that was A, established before they even submitted their application, and B, impossible to meet. Like, seriously, 2 months? You thought you could get everything approved in 2 months? Okay. Now that getting a license for their 2022 circuit was impossible, Nintendo recommended that Smash World Tour apply for a single event license for their championship event instead, since those licenses take far less time and they'd be negotiating several months in advance. Now, given everything that happened leading up to that point, you'd imagine that the Smash World Tour would have learned from their past mistake and patiently waited for a response from Nintendo before announcing the championships, right? Right?
After no response for months, we felt that we had no choice but to announce the championships in August.
There's absolutely no way you did this and said, yeah, nothing bad could happen from this. Nothing. This is reasonable. When Nintendo had notified Smash World Tour that their license had been denied, one of the first reasons they gave was announcing and operating without a license. To act like this didn't play a major role in them getting shut down is just peak delusion at this point. Like, Nintendo literally told them, don't do this! While this is one of the more blatant examples of Smash World Tour fumbling the bag, this isn't the primary reason why their second license application was denied. There's another reason that I find more compelling.
Finally, last Wednesday evening, November 23rd, we had our most recent call with Nintendo. Our Nintendo rep opened by letting us know that they were being asked to deliver the news that going forward, Nintendo expects us to only operate with a commercial license, and that we would not be granted one for the upcoming championships or any activity in 2023. We received this in writing as well.
Nintendo would later clarify that Smash World Tour did not meet the standards for health and safety. While it seemed like Nintendo had finally given an answer as to why they denied Smash World Tour a license, many people seemed to think that this was a lame cop-out answer or corporate double talk.
I have received info that Lost Tech City, a Totem Panda Cup event, requested Nintendo directly to use the Smash World Tour health and safety guidelines, received no pushback, and was granted a license. Smash World Tour has to play by different rules. Weird of Nintendo to double down, given that.
For anyone who doesn't know, Double Down refers to a Las Vegas Smash event that occurred in July of last year. This event is notable because during Ultimate Grand Finals, there was an incident where a YouTuber named Technicals, who was banned from the event midway through, had snuck back in dressed up as a girl. Now, one might ask, how did a banned spectator get back into the venue that easily? And the answer is pretty simple.
There's literally no security. If you look over there, not a single guard or anyone posted up.
You'd expect an event with 1,700 people to have, something to stop people from walking through the front door uncontested. Yet somehow, Technicals, who was banned from the event, was able to just walk back into the venue with no trouble whatsoever.
Well, yeah, so I basically sat in the lobby. I was on my phone and I was waiting for grand finals because that's when the stunt was gonna happen. And I figured it would be easier to get in when everyone was excited for the final match. I thought there was a chance there'd be less security. I didn't think there'd be no security. So
yeah.
When I walked in, I had all these things planned out. I was like, okay, I'm wearing a disguise. I'll walk in next to someone so I seem less, suspicious. And there was no one there. Everyone was gone. Most of the security detail had already gone home for the night. The tournament was running late. No bag checks whatsoever during the biggest match of the event. And I was just shocked at how easy it was for someone like me who was banned the night before to get into the event during the biggest moment, essentially be able to do whatever I wanted.
So the disguise was just like, you didn't really have to wear a disguise to get in there. You could have just walked in.
And I was sitting in the audience because most people know what I look like anyways. I feel like the disguise did help. I don't think I'd need a disguise to get past the security there.
What was the security like the first 2 days? Because you were banned for day 3, but you were allowed to be there for the first 2 days. So what was security like? Were there metal detectors, bag checks? What protocols were in place?
When I went the first couple days, that's when they actually had more of a security presence, unlike the final day when it was later in the afternoon. At the registry desk, they were checking for COVID, and then you would walk over and there were these white tables set out, and then people on both sides that would just do a quick bag check, and then you go straight in. There was no metal detectors. They didn't check my pockets or anything. So as long as you didn't have a purse, anything on your person, in your jacket, whatever, go straight in. Food, water, all that good stuff. The security was already kind of iffy. It's one of those touch and go things where they look at your stuff. If they see anything, they don't get paid enough to really go through everything that you have for hundreds of people.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this sounds like a huge health and safety violation, which begs the question, who was running Double Down? Well, as it turns out, Double Down was run by VGBC, the people who made Smash World Tour. It was also listed as a platinum tier event, making Double Down one of its premier stops. Now I already know what you're thinking. Franchise, why would Nintendo pay attention to an irrelevant drama YouTuber? And you're right, for the next 4 months, it wasn't an issue, and the cordial negotiations between Smash World Tour and Nintendo went on as usual. But on November 17th, Yimmer and Apostle would release a statement addressing tech. I assume in their minds they got some sick own, but all they really did was shoot themselves in the foot, because not only does this whole document statement read like it never went through any sort of PR firm, but they failed to address the most important part, which was the complete lack of security that allowed tech to get back into Double Down in the first place. Oddly enough, those productive and transparent conversations with Nintendo fell apart less than a week later. Now, while Nintendo obviously doesn't care about tech, they'd absolutely care about a company that they're currently negotiating with. So when that company violates health and safety guidelines and makes a statement denying any wrongdoing in the situation, am I supposed to feel bad for them when they're denied a license? And Double Down wasn't an isolated incident either. Pound is another VGBC tournament that happened last year, and was once again a platinum tier event on the Smash World Tour. Pound was most notable for its 24-hour venue that ran from 7 PM Thursday to 2 AM Monday. So you'd expect the security to be top of the line if the venue is open for 79 straight hours, right? Well, let's find out. Earlier this year, I spoke with the 36th ranked Melee player in the world, Mech, and here's what he had to say about the security at Pound 2022.
Yeah, there was one table near the door with a guard there. It wasn't a police officer or anything special, no tool belt, etc. Just a random dude with maybe a vest that would check every now and then. It seemed pretty loose by my memory, but there was at least something there. I feel like you could wait around for an opening and just get in if you really wanted to. Nothing like Shine or Lost Tech City, where they had metal detectors and multiple checkpoints. There was definitely a post and like a guy station, but it was already in the building, and there was nothing at the actual entrance to the inside. Only after you entered the building for free, then there was a little table with a dude that would check. Other events had better security. There were bags allowed in, and they definitely were checking bags. Like, I got my bag checked initially, but after the first bag check, they kinda assumed I was good and let me go through other consecutive times back and forth, which isn't good. At Shine, you had to get it checked every time. Genesis every time. Same with both low-tier cities. Pound was notably more lackluster than the others.
What's important to note here is that the 4 events Mech mentioned, Genesis, Low Tide City, Lost Tech City, and Shine, were all Nintendo licensed events. So they give us tangible examples of what Nintendo's security standards look like. So if Pound isn't meeting the standards of those tournaments, then it's safe to say that Pound isn't meeting Nintendo's standards for a license. Lost Tech City really caught my eye, because if you'll remember, Aiden Calvin claimed that they used the same guidelines as Smash World Tour, but according to Mech, Lost Tech City had notably better security in the form of metal detectors, which were not present at Pound, even though they were supposedly in the Smash World Tour's guidelines. Metal detectors weren't used at Double Down either, so unless Aiden is mistaken, this strongly suggests that Smash World Tour lied to Nintendo about the security measures they plan to use. Otherwise, we would have seen events like Pound and Double Down using metal detectors just like LTC. I just find it funny how Smash World Tour has just not acknowledged this in any capacity whatsoever. They just keep dodging the point and acting like they did absolutely nothing wrong. Look! Big scary Nintendo, they're trying to shut us down, guys! We did nothing wrong! We just want to play the game, guys! When Nintendo gave them a reason, and it's a very legitimate one at that. To anyone who chooses to go to a VGBC event in the future, know that they do not and will not prioritize your safety. Apparently their security has improved at some of their more recent events, or so I've heard, but they only did it because a random guy on the internet got bored one night, not because they actually care about keeping everyone safe. And the fact that they won't acknowledge their history of poor security shouldn't make anyone feel safe about going to a VGBC event in the future. And to VGBC and any other event organizer out there, please start taking security seriously. Even if it means raising registration fees, $10 is nothing compared to 10 lives. Alright, well, thank you for your time. If you guys want to check out Technicals, he's a small YouTuber, really want to give him this platform to share his story. I'll leave a link in the description.
I can't wait for you to upload this video so I can steal major research from it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, dude. So let's recap everything we've covered thus far. Smash World Tour's first application was denied because they made plenty of poor business decisions that forced them to disobey Nintendo and announce their circuit while they were still negotiating a license. And their second application was denied due to their complete disregard for Nintendo's health and safety guidelines at some of their most notable events last year. It's hard to feel bad for Smash World Tour and VGBC when it's entirely their fault that this happened to them.
I think Nintendo wanted Panda to win from the start. They don't want SWT to win, and they wouldn't have wanted to have SWT as a partner. I really don't think they had a chance in hell.
Yeah, so let's just disregard the fact that as of this video, we have seen 2 esports orgs and several TOs successfully partner with Nintendo and obtain licenses for their circuits and tournaments, many of which were not part of the Panda Cup. Nintendo didn't just pick one winner, they picked like 8. And oddly enough, the one loser they picked, Smash World Tour, just so happened to make a ton of boneheaded mistakes during the licensing process. But hey, surely that's just a coincidence.
He's painting this out to be a bad thing, but to me, this sounds like good TOing.
What upsets me the most is that they made all of these easily identifiable mistakes during the licensing process, yet instead of acknowledging and taking accountability for any of them, they instead chose to shift the blame and focus onto Panda and Dr. Allen, which resulted in hordes of harassment towards Dr. Allen and Panda employees. They muddied the waters so bad that people thought that Panda and Dr. Allen were the reason that Smash World Tour got shut down.
I think SWT got screwed really bad, and I think that Panda Global's behind it.
If y'all don't know, there is actually a big second entity that contributed to Nintendo canceling the event, and that was Panda.
So like I said, it just really is a doubling down. They're not sorry for their choice at all. It was obviously influenced by the higher-ups at Panda.
I didn't think I'd have to say this, but no. Contrary to popular belief, Dr. Allen can't just snap his fingers and control a multi-billion-dollar company to just shut down Smash World Tour. That's not possible.
Dr. Allen told them to shut it down, and they went, yeah, we agree with you. Yeah, that's not how it works. No one tells Nintendo what to do. And this is why I was telling people that when it comes to this shutdown, it feels like a lot of the weight is on Nintendo instead of Panda Global. Their influence is very minimal in these types of decisions. Understand that Nintendo is a business. These are business decisions. These decisions are never emotional, okay? So no one can emotionally manipulate Nintendo into doing anything. So this, as much as you guys want to think like, oh man, that can't be true, it's true.
Smash World Tour would clarify that they don't blame Dr. Allen for getting their circuit shut down. Well, I don't understand why they mentioned him so much if he's not even that relevant to their situation. They claim they had to shut down because Nintendo wouldn't let them operate without a license. At what point is Smash World Tour responsible for the boneheaded mistakes they made that prevented them from getting the license? Why is no one else bringing this up? Everyone else figured out a way to secure a license. If they want to talk about sabotaging and undermining, they should seriously consider looking in a mirror, because they've done more damage to their own circuit than Dr. Allen ever could. Overall, the whole section talking about Panda is completely unnecessary because half the stuff has nothing to do with Smash World Tour. This honestly reads like a hit piece, as if burning them to the ground was the intended goal from the start on some crab mentality BS. It's an extremely petty and unprofessional approach that caused the entirety of Panda to collapse for no reason at all. Then they had the gall at the end to say, our goal is not to burn bridges. Even if Dr. Allen was some evil mass manipulator trying to control everything, why did the rest of the company need to fail? In fact, Panda had already taken steps internally to try and resolve any issues Dr. Allen was causing, so the community basically killed an entire company over a non-issue. Panda tanked so hard that they were forced to lay off all non-essential staff. Why did all these people need to lose their jobs? None of them knew what was happening, and some weren't even in the Smash community. This wouldn't have happened without Smash World Tour name-dropping them for no reason in their document. There are many reasons to dislike Dr. Allen, some more serious than others. I just didn't know Allen was a more capable businessman than I am, was one of those reasons. But here we are, I guess. As I stated before, Smash World Tour claimed that Nintendo wouldn't let them operate without a license. Now, anyone with half a brain can put 2 and 2 together and say, well, if they need a license to run the events, and they aren't getting one, then they aren't allowed to run the event. You know, basic logic. But at the same time, Nintendo never explicitly said that Smash World Tour had to cancel the championships in December. In fact, here's what they had to say about the Smash World Tour cancellation.
When we notified the SWT that we would not license their 2022 or 2023 activities, we also let them know verbally that we were not requiring they cancel their 2022 finals event because of the impact it would have on players. Thus, the decision to cancel the SWT 2022 was, and still is, their own choice.
So now we're left with 2 possible outcomes for this situation. Either A, Nintendo wasn't clear in their communications, and Smash World Tour felt like they were being shut down since they didn't have a license, or B, Nintendo was very clear, and Smash World Tour chose to shut down on their own accord. We've already covered the first outcome thoroughly. If Smash World Tour needed a license to operate, then it's their fault for blowing the opportunity to get one. But the second outcome is more interesting, because if Nintendo didn't force Smash World Tour to shut down, and this was properly communicated to them, then that would mean Smash World Tour canceled on their own accord. But there's one problem with that. Why? Why would Smash World Tour shut down the most anticipated event of the year if they weren't forced to? Considering their love and passion for the Smash community and their commitment to grassroots, it doesn't make sense at all for them to just, well, give up. When Nintendo said the decision to cancel with Smash World Tours, I couldn't for the life of me think of a single reason as to why they would. But as I was investigating this case, many of the people I worked with all kept asking the same exact question. How were they gonna do it? More specifically, how was Smash World Tour gonna pay out the $250,000 prize pool and pay for the expenses of running an event on top of that? I asked some TOs on how events are typically paid for, and they said that most of the budget comes from attendance. Having 2,000 to 3,000 attendees, each paying around $60, can give you a decent amount of money to work with to pay for the expenses. Larger events would also have sponsors that could help reduce overhead and make the event more sustainable, but usually the bulk of the money comes from attendance. Now here's the issue with Smash World Tour. The 2022 championships only had 940 attendees pre-registered, meaning they were getting little revenue from attendance. This leaves sponsorships, but remember, Smash World Tour isn't licensed, so it's hard to believe they'd be getting serious sponsorship deals. They also only have one public sponsor, Medify, and they've been going through mass layoffs, so it's not like they're in the best position to dish out bread. The thing that kept bothering me though, is something Smash World Tour said in one of their statements.
To be clear, we are also losing significant sponsorship revenue tied to the 2022 Smash World Tour Championship, as well as absorbing massive sunk costs this year due to canceling the event. Not to mention the additional hundreds of thousands of dollars Boston sponsorship agreements for 2023, as well as multiple years of work poured into Smash World Tour.
They claimed they had lost a ton of sponsorship revenue, but who were these sponsors? I've heard rumors that they had prospective sponsors, waiting for Nintendo to license Smash World Tour before signing on, which actually makes a lot of sense. It would explain how Smash World Tour could lose sponsorship revenue without actually having the sponsors on board. What doesn't make sense is why Smash World Tour would choose to neuter their license application if all their money hinged on it, but I digress. If your event is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're not getting the money from attendance or sponsors to cover the cost, then you're bound to lose a ton of money paying for everything out of pocket. However, there's a problem with that logic. Losing money hadn't stopped the Smash World Tour before. In fact, they had actually been operating at a deficit for 18 months at that point, which begs another question: why would the Smash World Tour continue to operate when they were in the red? Smash World Tour says they did it purely out of love for the community, but there's also another reason. Running a successful championship event would build up hype and excitement for the next one, bringing in more viewers and potential sponsors, which means more money and more sustainability. Over time, this would eventually lead to the circuit becoming profitable. This was actually the original business plan for the Panda Cup, to grow incrementally over time. But here's the thing with Smash World Tour. Nintendo did shut down their 2023 circuit, so why take on the loss in 2022 to build hype for a circuit that wouldn't happen? It would be better to just cut your losses and save the money, especially if you would have to pay most of the costs out of pocket. Ultimately, we don't know whether or not Smash World Tour was truly forced by Nintendo to shut down their event, but the fact that Smash World Tour couldn't get the license sealed their fate anyway. And again, whose fault is it that they didn't get a license? No matter how you look at it, the situation boils down to one thing and one thing only: Smash World Tour failing to secure a commercial license for their event. And they couldn't do that because of their poor business decisions during the licensing process and their inability to follow basic health and safety guidelines. I really want to hammer this point home because not enough people realize this. Almost everyone else was able to secure a license for their circuits or their events, yet for some reason it's not the Smash World Tour's fault when they can't. The Smash community, ladies and gentlemen, there's not much else to say. We have reached the end of our long and painful journey, and honestly, I feel bad for a few people in this situation. I feel bad for the players who were negatively impacted from the cancellation of the event. I feel bad for the Panda employees who lost their jobs unfairly and were harassed for days on end. I even feel bad for Dr. Allen, who didn't deserve to be doxxed and harassed for any of the things he did. Who I don't feel bad for is Smash World Tour, because they literally brought this all upon themselves. They can complain all they want about how Panda did this, this, and this, but at the end of the day, even they admit that Panda had nothing to do with their situation. And while Dr. Allen has noticeably taken a step back and acknowledged his shortcomings, Smash World Tour still wants to act like the victim and leave everyone else to burn. I don't care how much you love VGBC and prop up every good thing Gimmer has done for the community. This is not okay. At worst, the issue with Panda was one guy. Yet some people think that an entire Smash-based organization collapsing is a good thing for the Smash community. Like crabs in a bucket, they couldn't let Panda continue. The mystery of the Smash World Tour still has many questions left unanswered, but I can say one thing with 100% certainty. The Smash community lost 2 highly anticipated circuits, an entire Smash-based esports org, massive amounts of money, and a real chance to take Smash esports to the next level. And at this point, we should all know who's really to blame for all this. Esam, thanks for watching, hope you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.